Hey there, everyone. Thanks so much for coming in tonight. Hi, replay viewers. Thanks for being here, and thanks, YouTube viewers, for watching as well. I really appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Replay viewers and YouTube viewers, if you'd like to watch live, I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. Just go to Periscope and download the app and search for Penguin and Fish. So guys, we are gonna finish this up tonight. It might actually be a pretty quick scope. If you can see, I am on location. I have a different fancy machine tonight. So I'm gonna flip you around and we'll get going. Hey there, guys. Hi, I am at my parents' house. So I drove all day. It's about a five and a half hour drive for me. And I'm in my mom's sewing room and we are going to finish up Block 49. So before I came here last night, we used the iron. Oh gosh, what's that called? The iron interfacing. The paper-backed fusible iron. So we put that on last night. So it's all fused down. All we have to do is stitch it. And I brought that really pretty green 12 weight Aurifil thread, and I'll show you that once we flip around here. I brought that with and got it. I tested in Mom's machine, and I think it's going to work fine with the needle that she has. I probably wouldn't want to do a big project. It is a thicker thread, so it in theory requires a needle with a bigger eye, like a jean needle or even a top stitching needle. I know, doesn't it? Reminds me of the 70s. I know, it really is kind of wacky and vintagey. You know, I think my whole quilt's going to kind of end up with like a bright, crazy 70s vibe to it, but I'm kind of okay with that. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. I'll kind of show you Mom's machine a little bit and what this 12 weight thread looks like. I think it's going to be really pretty, and I'm kind of still figuring out how I'm going to stitch it on the flower, but we'll take a look at that too. So if you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery and a fabric designer, and I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. And as you can see, I am on location at my mom and dad's house. My mom has this nice sewing room. Oh look, you can kind of see all her ribbons that she's saving, using for some project there. Got some Best Press in the back. I brought her another bottle of that today. And so, all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. I'll show you. I'm using my mom's machine, so it's always kind of funny using someone else's machine. So I'm hoping if I call up, Mom might have to come down and help me call upstairs. All right, flipping you around. Okay, oh, look at this. So she has in her sewing room a pegboard as the wall, so she can put in all sorts of fun things into the pegboard. I think it's just kind of a neat feature to her sewing room here. All right, so let's turn this guy on. All right, so this is Mom's machine, Bernina. I think it's probably, I don't know, actually it's probably about 10 years old now that I think of it. It's got lots more features than mine. Like it's got the little knee thing to lift the presser foot. I should just show you guys. Just because for me it's neat and nifty because I don't have any of these features. So here we go, right here. It's got all the different stitches, and here it's got the knee lift. So if I push on that, it lifts up the presser foot here. So all right. That's my mom's machine. Okay, so here is the thread. It's 12 weight Aurifil, and it is a little bit thicker than normal thread. Actually, a bit thicker. It's about the size of 2 strands of embroidery floss from 6 strand. Like if you separate 6 strand embroidery floss. Let's see if I can raise the needle here. All right, I'm gonna take this out to show you guys. So I have this all set up already. Here I did a test. This is the 12 weight right here. So it almost looks embroidered compared to some of these other stitches, which are really thin. This is her leader that she had already. So I think it's going to work just fine. Underneath, I still have the, I just have, this is the bobbin thread. It's just some normal weight. I don't know, this is probably 50 weight thread. She had this in her machine already, and it happened to be green, which is perfect because we're using green floss. But yeah, so I left that in, and the tension seems to be just right. So that's good. I'm happy to see that. That was what I was worried about. But yeah, so here is what it's gonna look like, and I don't know, I'm pretty happy with that. So I am thinking I want to, here's her little awl. I want to go on the inside of all the applique pieces. You know, it might be fun to go on the outside too, but I think we're going to just stick to the inside. So I'll do, you know, around here too, and then around the inside of all these little petals. And by inside, I'm meaning like a 1/16 of an inch in. I don't think I'm going to go much further than that. The only thing I'm a little unsure about is how I'm going to do these petals. I think I'm going to go just from here to here, and then I'll have to, you know, back tack it probably, and then I'll just jump to the next one and back tack and go around. The other option I have is kind of like going the whole shape of it. But I don't know. I think I'll do these last. So I think I'm going to just start from the center, do this circle, then do this circle, then work on the inside petals, and then we'll see. I think I'm just gonna do where I, you know, back tack, go around, back tack, and then jump, and then we'll cut off all the jump points afterwards. So I think that's my plan. So let's see how that works. Again, using a different machine than usual, kind of freaks me out a little. So all you Bernina users, you'll have to help me out if I can't figure out how to use the machine. But all right, I'm gonna just start. The nice thing with my mom's machine is the hole right here. I think I can zoom in a little. No, it doesn't look like I can zoom in on Periscope anymore. But I can just put the edge of the inside here. Here, I'm gonna take you off so I can show you a little bit closer because I think this is kind of cool. All right, sorry for the wiggliness. But here we go. I can, this inside edge here, I can put that right up against the edge of where I'm stitching as a guide, and it'll just be like a 1/16 of an inch in or something really close. So that's really great. So while I'm stitching, I'm gonna just watch the edge and make sure that edge is matched up to this or this side. But I'm gonna be stitching on this side right here. So let's see if that does the job. All right, back up in my stand. Okay, so here we go. I think I can maybe get you. Nah, this is about the best angle I can do here. So, all right, let's see how it goes. I'm a little nervous. So my mom's machine also has the feature, which I think I'm going to activate. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but where it ends up in the needle down state. All right, so I think this is the reverse. I'm going to back tack it. Yep, okay, good. That's the reverse. Okay, so I think here, if I press this button, there. Now it'll end up in the down state. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see, but the needle is ending up in the fabric, so whenever I stop stitching, the needle's going to be down, which is good because then I can keep turning it. And with the knee presser foot thing, that's going to be great. So I can just stitch like a stitch, turn it a little, do a couple. Oh, in this inside circle, I'm going to have to keep turning it quite a bit just because it's such a tight circle. But man, with the needle down feature and this putting my knee up like this, that's a whole lot easier than I can do on my machine. So we're gonna get much more precise stitching than I would be able to do at home. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can hear the crickets or not, but we don't have the doors open tonight because it's just been so humid here. So no frogs this time. I'm sad. That was so fun last time we did periscopes here. with all the froggies. There's Cricket still, though. All right, so we're about halfway done here, and I'll show you it when I'm done as well. But that needle down is definitely a fun feature. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to lay out all of both my mom's blocks and my blocks in tomorrow's Periscope. So we paged through, we had a little, like right when I got home, I got my binder out and Mom got her binder out and we looked at each other's blocks and stuff and it was fun. But it's going to be more fun when we can lay it all out. So it'll be half the size of what our quilts will end up being, which is crazy to think about. We have halfway to go yet. All right, 2 more stitches, I think, and we'll be around the corner here. All right, I'm going to back tack it again. All right, and let me show you what we got here. All right, so I'm going to trim it right away. Pull the back threads. All right, so here we go. I think that's going to look so cute. There's the little center. So that's how close I'm stitching, and which is pretty close. I wouldn't have had to do it this close, but because I am using that inside edge of the presser foot for a guide, I think it's working pretty slick. So I'm thinking that the rest of this won't take as long because I won't have to stop with every turn. This was just a pretty tight curve. But yeah, I think it's going to be cute. So let's do the next bit. I'm going to just try and get you guys in here a little bit better. There, maybe that's better. I did a Facebook Live. Oh, and she said she has the same color. Oh, fingernail polish that I do. Oh, that's so funny. I know, this is one of my favorite fingernail polishes, for sure. That and the other one. This is, I think, called like, I don't know, very berry or very berry or happy berry, something like that, by OPI, and I think it's totally like 90s or like 80s nail polish. It's kind of crazy. But the other one I really like is it's kind of this dark mauve-y color, and it's called In Stitches, and that's like literally the only reason I bought it. I'm like, the color's kind of pretty, and oh my gosh, it's called In Stitches. I need to buy it. Okay, so yeah, you know, I'm stitching it this way because I'm still in the get it all done mode. I'm still, I think I'm 10 blocks behind still, and several of those blocks are needle turn applique. So I basically am like, no more needle turn applique, which just takes a long time. It looks beautiful. It just takes a long time. But no more needle turn applique until I can get caught up, and that's kind of why I'm kind of sticking to the as fast as possible appliques lately. So that's, again, you know, I could hand stitch this, like do really pretty embroidery around, but oh, you're in start over mode. Because you did your block 6 inches, right? Yeah, so that's just if you guys are starting the Splendid Sampler. I know I have to answer a bunch of emails, but someone asked me today too that whether the blocks are supposed to be 6 inches when you're done or 6.5, because it's a little confusing. When you're done with your block, it should measure 6.5 inches. And when you're done with your block, that's considered unfinished. 6.5 inches is the unfinished size. And unfinished means not stitched into the quilt yet. So these blocks, which are the unfinished blocks, which I know is super confusing, but these should be 6.5 inches. Once they're sewn into the quilt, then they are 6 inches. So that gets pretty confusing if you're just starting out. You have yours ready to stitch. Oh, Yeah, there's so many. I mean, the kind of fun thing about applique is that there's so many different ways to do this. But yeah, I don't think I've done this yet with just a straight stitch all the way around. And I know I haven't done it with the 12 weight yet, I don't think. And I'm kind of really liking it. I mean, this 12 weight, I mean, it really is pretty dang close to embroidery. If you would embroider with just 2 strands of floss, and if you had like perfect length stitches, you know what? I didn't do it, I didn't think of it, but I could have probably made the stitch length longer, and it would have even looked more like embroidery. Like it would have been longer stitches like a human, like a human would have done, not these teeny tiny machine stitches. But that would have been a fun way to make this look even more hand done. But oh well. Oh yeah, you know what? A lot of mine are 6 1/8, especially a lot of my beginning blocks. So, we're approaching block 50. Block 50 is tomorrow, meaning I've done, a good 49 blocks, at least started them. And I have noticed immediately with the first few blocks that I do not have a good scant 1/4 inch, and I don't sew in straight lines. So a whole pile of my beginning blocks are not 6 1/2 inches. They're slightly shy, and a few of them are a hair bigger. So and I'm not redoing them. So I am definitely going to have to pull and pucker and all these things when they're sewn in the quilt. But you know what? I'm deciding that that's going to be part of the charm of the whole thing. And I actually really actually like looking at the beginning blocks and being like, wow, yeah, I've improved since then. I like knowing, yeah, best press. I didn't use best press. I didn't use any starch. I've never used starch before the Splendid Sampler. And I mean, that really would have made a big difference at the beginning. You can't seem to sew a straight line either. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, I really can't sew a straight line. Showed off your block tonight. Oh, she did! Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I'm gonna have to see if I can see the Facebook Live again. I think that should still be on. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I got like such great. I have my blog post up for celebrating the block 50, and when we stopped to get coffee, I read some of the comments, and everyone was so sweet. But I haven't. I was driving all day, and then I hung out with my family in the late afternoon, so I haven't even got a chance to look at the other designers' blog posts or read emails and do any of that stuff yet. So, but that's so cool. I'll have to look that up. Pat's the best. She's awesome. All right, we're just wrapping around here. All right, I just back tacked again, and there we go. Your machine pulls to the left. Oh, well, that's interesting. You know what? I feel like mine pulls a little bit too somewhere. Like I have to kind of urge the fabric into the machine a little bit sometimes. Otherwise, it wants to come out the other way. You know what? I think I am going to undo this every single time. I was thinking I was going to just jump, but I kind of want to see what it looks like. So I'm pulling it out every time, even though that's kind of wasting thread here and it's wasting time, but I'm too curious. I want to see it. So I'm just snipping it again. I think the edge is good yet. I think that was just light. It looked like my bobbin thread was coming up, but I think it was just the glare from the light. So here we are. It's pretty subtle, which is kind of fun. It's really looking a lot more delicate than I thought it was going to, which is kind of exciting because, I mean, when we were using this thread and doing the zigzag on the pincushion block, I mean, that was pretty pronounced. Your eye went right to these stitch lines, but this is clean, exactly. This is just like clean and delicate. I'm kind of digging this. You know what? I think I might do this for the squirrel block too. The squirrel block, I'm at this stage where I have to just stitch everything down. I think I'm going to do something like this. Yeah, just simple, stitch the edges down. I like how close it is too. Maybe we'll have time to do the squirrel block while I'm at my parents' house here. I suppose it depends on what block 50 is like, if that's a block that'll take a long time. But I don't know, maybe we'll, yeah, doing it, moms. Maybe maybe tomorrow we'll start block 50, but then maybe on Friday, maybe I'll switch back to the squirrel or something, just because that would be nice to get it done. Although I didn't bring any of my thread, and Mom doesn't have this thick thread, but maybe I'll just do it with normal weight thread. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do it with the green thread. This green might be cute on the squirrel. I'll have to, when I take out all my blocks out of all of my binder, my plastic sheets in my binder, when I do that tomorrow, I'll assess to see if green would look good on the squirrel. Because yeah, that would be awesome to get done. I am just using a straight stitch, just a straight sewing machine stitch. This is what the machine was set on when I got here. It is nothing but a normal straight stitch. I'm not doing a zigzag or anything. The only thing unusual is that I am using the 12 weight thread, which is, I think I got one more here. All right, oops. I went back here to lift up the presser foot. I forgot I have the knee presser foot. So the 12 weight thread, do I have this yet? Yeah. So here's, this green is the 12 weight compared to, you know, any of this other stuff, which is much thinner. So the 12 weight, it's approaching on looking like embroidery floss. Like I was saying a little earlier, if I would have done these stitches longer, like twice as long, they would look like big embroidery stitches that someone hand stitched. I just, you know, didn't think to do that. And now I'm already doing it this size, so we're staying this size. But yeah, so it's just thicker thread. And if you want to be, nope, I did not do it in the bobbin. So here's the bobbin. I just kept that normal size thread. The only reason I'm doing that is because when we did a test in one of these other blocks, and it worked best with the bobbin thread just being normal weight thread still. So that's what's kept the tension good enough for me. I think my machine at home did not like this thicker thread, the 12 weight thread in the bobbin case. It didn't act very good. So we tried it with normal thread, and then it worked just fine. So that's kind of what we're doing again here. The only other thing to think about with using thicker thread like that is you may want to change your needle. So it's like a jeans needle or a top stitching needle, something that is intended for thicker thread. The eye is bigger, and I can already tell it's shaving my thread a little bit. So my thread's getting a little fuzzy, and my guess is it's because the eye of the needle is rubbing against the thread a little bit more than it should be, and that's because I didn't change the needles. But I figured, you know, this is such a small project that I'm not going to bother. I'm going to see if this works in it. And in my little test before I came on here, it seemed like it would work just fine. So I'm risking it, but if I was going to do a big project, I would have switched the needles to something with a larger eye. But other than that, that's the only thing I'm doing different. I'm just using a normal little straight stitch. I mean, you could use whatever. You could do like a really decorative stitch, but I'm just getting a little bit around the edges. I think it's definitely looking cleaner and more delicate than I was expecting, which is kind of perfect. I didn't want it to be super out there. So working around these petals, this will take a little bit of time. Oh, this is actually taking a lot of time doing all these little petals, but you know, I'm being kind of exacting too. I mean, I am using my presser foot as a guide, and because they're tight circles, I have to lift up pretty often to get around the curve. I mean, luckily it's going a little bit faster than it would if I was doing this at home, just because my mom has that needle down feature, and the knee the knee pedal thing to lift the presser foot, which is kind of cool. I was thinking it would take a while to get used to, but it's pretty slick. Oops. Yeah, and I'm thinking these other pedals are going to take a little time to get around too, just because they're pretty tight curves. I'm hoping as I go I can speed up a little bit though, because I want to get this done tonight. It'd be awesome to get another block done. I did see the new block. There was a little bonus block released today. My mom printed it out. I think she's going to make it. I haven't done any of the bonus blocks really yet, except for the first one. Just because I'm behind enough on the main block, so I'm kind of sticking to the main blocks. I'll print out the other blocks. Oh, I'm over halfway done with this guy now, but I'm just doing the main ones. Yeah, I think I'm getting a little bit faster too, so that's good. Once I get to the outer pedals, I'll be super duper fast, hopefully. Yeah, I just have 3 more, so that's not too bad. Oh yeah, the new block. You know what? You think it looks like a party hat? That's kind of funny. I think it looks like the back of a dollar bill, the pyramid with the eye. I kind of think it looks like that. It looks like it's a quick, nice and easy applique though. I'm guessing it's applique. I haven't looked at the instructions, but I don't know what else it would have been. The circle like that and triangle. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow to see what block 50 is. I'm actually really, really excited to lay out our blocks. It really, I find it super interesting how different my mom's blocks are to mine, just because different colors, you know? And she's doing, we're not necessarily doing the same techniques for everything either. Like she needle turned appliqued this one. She actually did that technique that we learned with the bunny applique, which I have not finished yet either, but taking the paper and then using that tiny iron, that little craft iron with starch, so folding over the edge and pressing it with that tiny iron. That she did that for this block. And then hand stitched it on. So it's like where you're pre-doing the needle turn applique, like you're pre-doing the needle turn part of it with the starch and the iron. Like you're folding over the edges and starching and pressing it. And then you just stitch the edge on, but it's the edge is pre-folded basically. So that's how she did this block. And I'm just doing the fusible, raw edge fusible version. The quick, down and dirty and easy version is kind of how I think of it. All right, here's the last one. Then we got all the little petals. I think we're still gonna get done a little early tonight. Once I got going on this and it was taking a while, I was thinking, oh, maybe we won't, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. Man, it'll be weird to be past the halfway point. I don't know, that feels weird. I keep wanting to reach my hand back there to lift the presser foot, because that's how mine works. Like my hand keeps going up there, like it twitches, like it wants to go up there, but then I remember the knee. All right. So let's pop this off. Again, I probably don't need to do this. Oh, see, I just did it there too. I lifted it up even though I already had it lifted with my knee. So for all these petals, I'm gonna just jump though. I'm not gonna cut it and lift it up for every petal. And I think with my mom's machine, I don't even have to do this back tacking, but I don't know. It makes me nervous not to back tack. But here we are. Oh, it's kind of sweet. It's almost, it looks digital almost to me, like having this weird kind of edge with such a flowery, like 70s organic looking thing, and then having this really, really mechanical edge, but I think it's kind of sweet. I don't know. We're in it this far now, so we're not turning back. Oh, for one of the party. Oh yeah, so a few of the designers participated in like the halfway party. So we all did blog posts for it. So I was super excited. So I gotta do mine today. So if you go to my blog, which is or you can just go to the link from the Splendid Sampler post today, or you can just go to my blog, which is penguinandfish.blogspot.com, and I kind of talk a little bit about my journey so far. I didn't talk too much about like different techniques and stuff that I learned. I thought I'd get more into that tomorrow when I lay out all the blocks. Like I'm hoping to lay out all the blocks like the quilt, and then just kind of go through them and be like, oh yeah, here's where I learned to put a piece of paper underneath the corner so it doesn't push my fabric into the machine, like that sort of thing. But we'll see. Alright, so petal number 1 is done. So for this, I'm just going to jump. We'll see if we can do that. Alright, I'm hoping that'll work. So I'll trim all these. I think I'll do the straight stitch for the bonus block. Oh, yeah, that would be a way to get the bonus block done real quick, I'm thinking. Just straight stitch it. Okay, this is petal number 2. We'll try and get faster at these two. These have the little point at the tip, which is taking a lot of turning. One more. And again, I probably don't need to do this back tacking, but I don't know. I feel weird not doing it. Okay. See, I lifted it up again without my feet. Oh yeah, I haven't seen my blocks all laid out yet. The last time I laid out my blocks was last time I was here, I think, and that was when we were at block 25. So we've doubled our blocks since then. And man, I was thinking the quilt was looking pretty big back then, and I mean it's gonna be huge now. I'll have to move furniture so we can lay both my mom's quilt and my quilt out. So I didn't check the bobbin to see how much thread was on here, so I'm hoping we make it all the way around, because that'd be a bummer. Alright. I think this is working, just leaping. So this is this jump. This is like something that's pretty typical in machine embroidery, like where it's all programmed and then the machine does all the stitching for you. They have jumps where it leaps across a color. Thread will leap to another area that color is in. Then you have to kind of cut that off when you're done. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut off all these little joinings. You think there'll be ideas on how to... Yeah, so I think there'll be... I do think there'll be ideas to put the quilt together. I think, if I remember right, I think they were going to have 1 or 2 example settings. You know, so like one with sashing of some sort, and I don't know. So I think they are going to give some examples. I'm not sure if they're going to explain the whole process of quilting. So I'm not quite sure what they have planned for that. I do think that they have planned a couple settings, but I will most likely be doing all my entire quilting and everything on Periscope here. Actually, I'll probably come home to my parents' house here, and my mom and I will do it together. But then, you know, so on Periscope here, I'll show how we sandwich the quilt together. Or actually, you know, we'll sew the quilt. First of all, you know, we just have blocks right now. Oh, so we'll figure out how we're going to put our thing together. Right now, I'm thinking my quilt isn't going to have any sashing or anything. Sashing is if you want to put like a border in the middle of everything. So like if every block had like a little border before the next block was, so you know, like a little thin border in between the blocks, that's called sashing. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to just butt up all the blocks next to each other. I kind of like the idea of them all blending together, and you know, like this color might be in the block right next to it, so it will kind of mush together. I know that probably would drive some people batty, but I kind of like the idea of that. And I think the size of the quilt will work out a bit better for what I'm wanting. I want to end up with a queen size. So I think a queen size, I think that's like, I looked it up a long time ago, but I think it's something like 80 inches by 80 inches. So if I do, you know, there's 100 blocks, right? So, and each block will be 6 inches. Yeah, that's true. If we put our quilts together, it'll be 100 blocks. Oh, that's a good point. We could kind of get an estimate of the final size. But they're going to be 6 inches once they're sewn into the quilt. So I got to think that'll be about 60 inches. Yeah, and another 60 inches. I'm going to have a few bonus blocks. I might make more of that fabric. A couple days ago, we made fabric out of all the scraps. That's on our YouTube, on Penguin and Fish Movies, if you want to see that again. But I think I'm going to do a few more of those. So I'm going to guess that mine's actually going to get another row of, you know, let's call it another 10 blocks, right? So bonus blocks, and if I do more of those. So I'm thinking mine's going to be 60 inches by 70 inches, which is good. I like my quilts a little bit bigger. And then if I put some sort of border, so I'll do just like a border. Instead of sashing in between each, I'll just do like a bigger, you know, a 5-inch, you know, because 5 inches and 5, no. I'd have to do 10 inches yet. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet, but some sort of border to finish it up versus like a big fat border versus a bunch of tiny sashing. 10 by 10. Yeah, 10 by 10 will be 60 inches. I think I'm adding another row, so mine's going to be 60 by 70 inches. And then if I add a 10-inch border all the way around, but that's kind of a lot. That's not too much. It's about like this. So a 10-inch border, or maybe a 6-inch border, and then like a 4-inch border. That could be kind of interesting, because then the 6-inch will relate to our blocks. I don't know, something so it ends up around the 80 by 80 point. That's what I'm planning on. Queen mattresses 80 to 60. Okay, queen with a drop should be 60. Oh, 90. Okay, and I would prefer a larger drop. So okay, so that's good to know. Yeah, so you know what? I think I'm just gonna have a big old border. And you know what? I think that'll be cool. So all of the blocks will be condensed in the middle, and then there'll be this huge border around it. I think that will focus in on all the blocks. So, I don't know, I'm kind of excited about that. But that's right now my plan. You know, we got 6 more months for me to really decide on that. So, that's why I'm saying right now that's my plan. That might change, but right now that's my plan. And as far as quilting goes, that's going to be a big old question mark, because I haven't, like, I can't do all that fancy stuff. Or, I mean, you know, we if you watched a few blocks ago, one of those, that basket with the flowers in, that was my first attempt at kind of the free motion stuff, and it was not pretty. And the underneath side of that was, the tension was all messed up. So I'd like to try it with thicker, you know, like the thickness of an actual quilt. But still, I'm not sure if that's for me, like fancy quilting. I think I'm going to end up just stitching in the ditch. And what that means, just stitching in the ditch means that you're just kind of stitching in the seams. So I'm going to be basically just framing all my blocks. That's kind of, I don't know, maybe that's wimpy, but that's kind of my plan right now. And I'm a little nervous about getting really far into the blocks, because I don't want to, you know, mess up the motif of the block. But I don't know. It's not like quilting completely messes up a motif of a block either. So I don't know if between now, block 50 and block 100, I magically get really good at quilting. Like if I get a practice piece together and, every other once a week we practice a little bit, that's probably not a bad idea. But if that's the case, then who knows? Maybe I'll do some squiggles. I don't know. Right now that seems super unlikely. And I do like the idea that I'm finishing the quilt myself. I'm probably not gonna I'm not gonna send it out to a long armor or anything like that. So I don't know. The quilting is definitely gonna be the weak link of this thing, but I'm hoping it just it's good enough that the straight stitching is like charming, instead of looking totally crazy. Oh yeah, I could just do a bunch of parallel lines. That would be kind of fun. I could stitch in the ditch and then do like a couple lines along the edge. That might add a little bit of design interest and, get more quilting in there. Something like that. Straight edge, I feel like that's something I could do. Oh, well, I don't know. You saw me quilt that other thing. That was pretty scary looking. And if I had to if I made the commitment to do a whole quilt like that, I don't know. Most bats can have 10 inches between. Okay, yeah, so we're going to be plenty good. All right, so that's that. All I'm going to do now is trim off these edges. And all I'm going to do now is trim these jumps that we did. And that should be pretty easy. I might have to fold the fabric up a little bit to get in. But here let's turn this off. First of all, don't need the sewing machine anymore. I like the sound of when this turns on, though. I like that noise. Anyway, so now I'm just... You pick it up bigger on a big piece? Oh, man. See, you guys shouldn't be tempting me to do that. That's going to end in disaster, but, probably not, and I'll probably learn a ton. So, I don't know. We'll see. You guys are going to guilt me into doing fancy quilting. But, all right, so we got all these jumps. I'm going to just trim all those off, and we'll be done. It's going to be an early night tonight. All right. Now, I don't want to accidentally cut any of my fabric. So I'm going to just fold it to get a little bit more slack in there. Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe it would be good to do some crazy quilting in it, because the one corner will be super crappy, and by the time I get to the other corner, maybe it'll be fancy and good. That would be ideal. Yeah, it's true. I mean, you know what? That's a good point, because this whole thing has been about learning and experience, learning and doing that and trying new things. So yeah, you know what? I should probably not wimp out when it comes to the quilting. Boo. What's been the hardest block? Let's see, the hardest block. Oh, I know what the hardest block for me was. I don't think it would be as hard for me now. I don't even know what number it was, and I don't know if I can even describe it. It was the one that it was a lot of half square triangles, and it made like a star in the middle with half square triangles, but then there was those coupled borders around it. I kept pushing, it kept getting pushed in my machine just over and over again, and I was getting so frustrated. I'm like, my machine is eating this whole block. And that's when I learned, someone mentioned to put paper underneath it so that corners don't get eaten, and that totally worked, and then it wasn't so hard anymore. And I think now, that might have been before I was using starch too, so I think now I'd probably be a whole lot better. But that one was tough. You'll give me a pass on quilting, that's nice. Well, see, that's what I'm a little scared of. Too much labor has gone in this to mess it up. But, at the same time, there is something attractive about the idea of this whole thing's been about learning and stuff, and I don't know, it'd be cool to get better at quilting during this process too. The thing I'm worried about is not so much that it looks horrible, like just poorly done. I'm more worried about tension not being right. Like, I'm more worried about flipping it over and it just being all out of whack. But I suppose, maybe I should just put a little batted piece of something together and give it a try and see if I can figure that out. Because, I want it to still hold together. If the quilting looks totally crazy, I'm more okay with that versus structural stuff. So, all right, here we are. Let's get in focus. There, we got all our little edges. And I could have probably gone around these too, but I kind of like that it's going into these other ones. Yes, a practice sandwich. I think that might be a good idea. Because it would be fun to get into, do squirrels and squiggles or something. I don't know. Even little stars around these flowers and stuff too, and not just like leave all the blocks alone. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe one of these days that we have a free day, I'll get some batting together and we'll experiment. My mom has that one of Angela Walters' machine quilting book. Angela Walters is that amazing long arm artist. She does all Tula Pink's quilts, just intricate, amazing things. Maybe I need to look at that and figure out how to do cute designs and stuff. Yeah, you know what? I like this idea. I'll get a sandwich, a practice sandwich together one of these days. I think you may have talked me into it. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around and we will call it an early evening. There, hey again. In my mom's studio. She has her sewing or her pressing areas over here, and then the machine is in front of me, and then she's got pegboards on all the walls to put all her stuff, and then shelves up here. It's very nice. So, all right, here we are. Finished block. Woohoo! All I have to do is trim it down. I think, remember, we had like an extra little eighth all around here, but I have some other blocks that need to be trimmed down. Maybe I'll do a block trimming before I lay out all my blocks tomorrow afternoon. So we'll just get them all down to the 6.5 inches again. But it's cute. I'm happy with it. It's kind of like a nice little wheel. These where it connects is almost like spokes of the wheel. But all right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. So tomorrow, again, I'm going to be laying out all the blocks, every block that we've done so far, 50 blocks, and I'm going to be laying out my mom's too. So I'll show you both of ours together. And yeah, by both of them, we'll kind of get a sense at what the whole quilt will look like, because it'll be 100 blocks on the ground. And then we'll start block 50. Don't know what that is yet, but that'll be exciting. Halfway point, pretty crazy. And if you guys haven't yet, be sure to check out the blog post that I wrote yesterday for Block 50. It is at penguinandfish.blogspot.com. And you know what? All these videos are gonna be on YouTube, but they probably won't go up to YouTube till I get home on Sunday or Saturday, because Wi-Fi, I don't think we'll upload them here. So you'll have to come in live if you want to see the quilt tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be up on like Sunday or Monday. All right, guys, thanks again. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.